what a day! Woo! Yeah! Oh, feels like I'm doing a spacewalk.
Welcome to Flight 48. This one is coming off the heels of a magnificent Flight 47 just a few days ago. I was looking at the report and I was like, okay, sweet, it's gonna line up at Kagel, let's do it. A lot of pilots going to San Bernardino, so I thought about going there, but decided to go to Kagel since it's a little bit shorter of a drive for me. Got the hook-in assistance here on launch. There was a couple paragliders that launched and one other hang glider, but I was the second one up for the day. Really stoked with that takeoff roll there, much cleaner than my launch that I recently had in Santa Barbara. And keeping those hands up for plenty of time. Probably could have dropped them sooner, but better safe than sorry, I believe. And we're good to go. Rolling down, looking for lift with very high expectations for a super long flight because of what I saw in the forecast.
All right, great day.
Up in the top left of your screen, we're gonna see this Google Earth top-down view. I figured it added some cool context, so curious to hear people's thoughts. If they think it clutters it too much, I can take it away on the future flights, but I think it's kind of cool. It gives a bigger, better overall picture. And then there'll be some full screen shots of it as well as I'm doing bigger transits to just kind of further exemplify passage over land versus just, you know, this bird's eye view that we're getting kind of from where I'm sitting.
So quite a bit of ridge component, it seems like. Should have done my dang shoulder stretches.
So shoulders are a little bit sore, but oh well. See if we can survive. This is my second flight with the new hang loop. Trying to get it a little bit more dialed in. I adjust the cleat a few times during this flight, but end up just kind of rolling with it as is, going back to where I set it initially. Couldn't really find a spot. I adjusted a little bit higher and I was like, whoa, that's way too much. And then adjusted lower and that's like way too low. So I think I had it in a pretty good spot actually. And I don't know, it feels weird because it's different, but I think it's at a pretty good spot overall. I mean, I'm able to do everything. I feel like I'm flying pretty efficiently, so it works.
Well, that's what you get for thinking you're gonna have a long flight and for not throwing the bag in the harness. Huh. Darn. I didn't think in a million years this would be a short flight. That's probably why it was long. Well, I got a good glide out. There's one bird giving me a... Man, this would be cool.
So, as we can hear, I've completely given up hope. I'm like, dang, the one time that I don't throw my glider bag inside my harness, I'm gonna land out and you know, I'm gonna beat the shuttle down to the landing zone. I think I'm totally done at this point. But then I see a bird going up. I start to get a little bit of lift, and all of a sudden my fortune has completely changed. There's hope again. And I really love the top down of the Google Earth here. We can just see how these shapes actually form up. I'm drifting back with the thermal, moving up. I think it's the same thermal core, but it moves backwards along the ridge as it goes with the wind, because the wind is usually blowing up the ridge here at Sylmar. And you can really see that from the top-down view, so I really like that visualization. Then you kind of just pair that with the 2D elevation graph as well, and you can get a good mental picture of what it looks like. I could scroll around or send the GPX file if people are really curious, but I think you get a pretty clear picture with the two views and then the third first-person view as well. So,
Wow.
I really like these little time lapses of showing a glider circling with me and a top-down view of the thermal. Again, it just really breaks down like what we're doing here. We're corkscrewing up this like kind of like diagonal shape in the sky. And I'm definitely calling this video the dance because I had this amazing climb with my buddy here. I forgot his name. We've reintroduced ourselves at the ground again and I forgot. But we just had this amazing climb. We both thought we were done. He saw me climbing. I got up and then he gets up with me, and you know, we do this sweet climb up to like 4,500 feet, and we're both just so stoked on it. I wish I had radio on this flight. We didn't have radio going. Sylmar people just don't really seem to fly with radios that much unless they're like a tight group, so oh well. But yeah, look at those spirals. Amazing, just cruising up, just super easy to get up to the top. Felt amazing.
Air temperature, that's pretty wild. Wow.
So at this point, I'm actually getting farther back on the ridge than I have ever previously. I have so much height, I'm totally comfortable doing it, but it was a little bit nerve-wracking at first, being like, okay, I'm going behind the ridge. Like, this is usually a no-no zone, but I'm at nearly 5,000 feet, so I know I can glide it out. And then I'm like already thinking about my next move, trying to be a better pilot. And I'm like, once I get to a high point, I'm just gonna glide out either to Trash Mountain or to this other side of the gorge, and decide to just go for the other side of the dam.
I don't think messing around in the middle here is the play at all.
So another pilot also went this direction. I was kind of following her because I was like, okay, someone's going this way, I'll go this way. Maybe I'll see them get some lift. They went a little bit farther than me initially, and I felt a little lift, so I tried to get a climb there. Didn't really get a whole lot from it, and then continued on, and then got into the same thermal as them and had a really nice climb out here.
Wow, what a climb.
The ascent rate was like the highest of any point. You know, I was like, look at the verticality of that 2D line of the above sea level graph, and you can just see how steep this climb was. Like, it was like the tightest beeps I've ever heard on the variometer before.
Holy crap. Now some like little holes in his visor, I think.
See, I'm starting to think that the visor is the reason that I was feeling airsick on my previous flight in Santa Barbara. So I tried to just have it up more for this flight, and I think like cracking it up a little bit or just having some like airflow holes drilled into it would help a ton. But it was really warm, so I didn't really need the visor. In Santa Barbara, like for warmth, the visor was really nice. And for a flight in like the Owens Valley or something, I think I would definitely want the visor down probably all the time if the air is super cold.
Now, see, I'm a little wary to go all the way out there just because, again, I don't know what the bailouts are. See some pavement, see that dirt, that looks good. So I don't want to have to land here. Golf course for sure, no go. Okay, let's get a little something here. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice climb. This is really cool being on the other side, man. After looking at that for so long from that one angle, being over here is epic. So I believe that's the helicopter port, like right around there.
So really cool seeing those helicopter landing pads. I've seen helicopters land here a bunch, and I'm actually curious if people know like the flight rules on this. I don't know if there's helicopters coming in, if you're like not supposed to go on this ridge or how that works. I saw other hang glider pilots out here, no helicopters, so I had a feeling it was probably safer today.
We're not even at the top of lift yet. Probably getting close though, I would imagine. Wow! What a view! What a view! So I don't love how far back I'm getting here, but with this altitude, I mean, that's a lot of altitude to burn. I know I could do some terrible things and get very unlucky, but you know, I got a pretty good amount of glide there with 2,000 feet to drop. Okay, I need to make these circles more circular.
So I can see, I'm looking at my phone, I have the same Google Earth type view on my phone here, and I see these like circles that I'm making have this like really tight pocket on one side, and it's like, if I should be cutting a corner, it's definitely not that one. And so I look at that and I'm like, okay, I need to make these circles. And that's one really nice thing about the Wingman app with the thermal visualizer, as I can see where I'm getting lift, and I can see the shape of the circles that I'm doing here. And just like, I'm seeing this and I know that I'm turning too much in the downwind leg here. I need to stretch it out a little bit more. That one maybe overdid the first time because I'm kind of repeating completely. But this next one, I feel like I get it a little bit more dialed in, and it's just really cool to have that app going while I'm flying, to be able to see that in real time. And then in the analysis as well, it's really cool to see just how these shapes form up. It's like very mathematical and very pleasing to me.
I should be able to see Andy Jackson pretty soon. This is insane. I can go anywhere right now.
So I get this really nice climb and I'm like, okay, it's time to keep on pushing. I'm gonna go even farther over into uncharted territory, getting pretty wild here. And let's just see how it goes, because I know the lift is great everywhere.
I think this is the helicopter stuff for sure. I can see either this one or that one. I'm not positive which. Absolutely nuts being out here. Absolutely nuts. Well, I made it to an absolutely wild 6,000 feet. Never ever thought I'd be this high today. I literally thought I was gonna land at the 7-minute mark. Now we're sitting at 44 minutes. That's incredible. Wow, this is really, really cool. The hills are beautiful. It's really cool seeing Los Angeles with the clear day. It's never been this clear. I mean, I can see my house from here. I can see the Channel Islands. That's amazing. This is amazing, dude. What a day. Woo! That's nuts. I'm literally looking at the Channel Islands. Oh my goodness. Wow, I am so freaking stoked right now. This is crazy, dude. This is crazy. Wow.
So the view is just absolutely wild up here. I can see Catalina Island, Anacapa Island, Santa Cruz Island. I can see my house. I can see Thousand Oaks. I can see LA, Everest. Easily the clearest I've ever seen at Kagel. It was absolutely beautiful. And the lift is just blowing my mind. And so I'm just, you know, giddy with excitement. Just keep on pushing here. I know I'm starting to get a little bit risky out here because I don't know the bailouts well, and I should probably know them better to be flying over here, but it was a calculated risk that I took and got out here, and I'm still just in shock because I thought this flight was over at the 10-minute mark. And so I'm just kind of like riding this high and like, screw it, I'm going for it, I'm pushing, I'm adventuring out here, and we're gonna see what just happens. Hopefully I can get a climb. I'm just looking for trigger points, trying to use my knowledge of what a trigger point looks like, kind of like looking for those right shapes in like something facing some wind and maybe get some like buffeting going up, and just hoping for the best at this point.
It looks pretty juicy for a bailout. Let's hope we don't get down to that. Let's hope we just get some nice lift right here. Let's go. There's definitely a sizable headwind. Just looking at that flag down there. But there's also some great lift, so that's promising.
So I'm getting pretty desperate at this point. Things turned pretty fast. I'm like, okay, I really got to start thinking about bailouts. I'm seeing some wind on a flag below me, so I'm like, okay, I definitely can't make it back to the regular landing zone at Sylmar. So if I don't get lift here, I'm pretty screwed. So I just do this really big searching pattern here. Don't really find a solid amount of lift. I kind of had a thermal for a sec, but then lost it.
Choice here. I think I could try to push back the way I came, or I could try to kind of get some ridge lift out here, or whatever. A little bit nervous about the landing zone situation. I mean, I'm relatively low over here. There's definitely a wind, so it'd be really cool to get a climb before going to the right. I mean, actually no, it'd be crazy to go to the right now. I need to get some altitude, and ideally I'll just get a huge climb back up to 6,000 to be able to push back over. But right now I'm not sure how that's gonna pan out.
So searching, continuing to drop, and eventually I'm just like, okay, I cannot stay back here. It's getting pretty low. I think I'm gonna have a better time just moving forward on the range, and so that's what I go for here.
All right, we're gonna cruise out this way and hope for some lift. I had something and I should have just, I turned it out of it, so I thought it was more ridgy, but it wasn't. Yeah, we're getting pretty low.
So I'm just absolutely sweating bullets at this point. I know I'm dropping like a rock. I know that I don't have like a way to, I'm biting my lip there, you can see that, pretty gnarly. I know I can't make it to the regular LZ. I'm not seeing great options for retrieve below me. I know it's a safe landing below me, but the retrieve looks pretty dicey. So I'm just looking out. I see this like decent looking trigger point thing. I see people hiking on this road, which is a good sign. It's not private lands, but it's probably close to cars, so it'd be a really long hike out probably with my glider.
I'd have a lot more legs as far as where I could try to aim to, because right now, you know, I'm just barely gonna make it out of these hills. And I mean, I don't even know where, let's see, the wind's coming from, well, okay. That golly thing looks pretty terrifying, but doable. I mean, I'm definitely in a weird position right now. We're pretty low. Gonna need a climb. For sure, gonna need a climb. Really hoping for some lift here. Boy, oh boy.
So here, I'm like just about ready to completely give up hope. And then all of a sudden, as predicted, that little mound thing has some lift, and I'm just so excited.
I don't even feel like I deserve it at this point. Oh man, thank goodness. Okay, I have to make this thermal work. It's basically where we're at right now.
And that lift just pans out, and I just continue to ride it up, and I get a decent climb here, enough where I'm just like, oh, massive sigh of relief. I was really starting to sweat where I would have to land. Just looking at the top down here, we can kind of see I don't continue back with the thermal, and that's probably why I lost the lift there. And then I'm kind of just back into surge, and I kind of go, I think, the wrong way. I probably should have just continued back a little bit, and probably I would have found it again. But really fun to do this problem solving up here.
I don't see a lot of power lines here. I could probably really stick it anywhere in these hills, and it would just be a really, really annoying retrieve, basically. Okay, so I'm gonna try to push forward more. Had a pretty good climb there, and potentially could have kept on riding it, but I'm trying to head this direction eventually. And wow, actually the climb is maybe out here, so I maybe left my thermal prematurely. So yeah, there we go. Good little exploration.
So at this point, I have enough altitude. I'm like, I'm gonna start kind of heading back towards home base now. Get a little bit of a glide out there. Get back to where I know a little bit better. And hopefully I get some lift along the way, but I'm starting to see some bailouts really close to where my car is, and that gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
But I think at 3,400 feet here, I can glide to the LZ safely. I think. Just based on my height compared to the main ridge, and the headwind's not insane, I think it's doable. And if I get a climb, great. I'll take a climb and maybe get a longer flight out of this.
So at this point, I think I'm pretty close to being able to glide out to the regular Sylmar landing zone. So anything here from on is a bonus for me. This is a time where I'm like, especially having these 2-hour flights back to back, I'm like, I might be ready for that next glider level, just because with the altitude and the climbs that I was getting on this flight, I think, you know, having that good glider ratio, I could have really done a lot more. I mean, I'm sure it's probably too soon, but I think I'm getting closer and closer to being ready for actually utilizing something with the VG, a double surface glider that gets a better glider ratio, because on a day like today, I could have definitely covered some more ground if I could have had a little bit more efficient of a glide ratio that I'm not really getting with the Falcon.
I have been blessed so many times on this flight. Or maybe I'm just that damn good.
So I just get this beautiful climb back up to 4,500 plus feet. And at this point, you know, I just feel like so thankful. I can't believe it. I know it's a great day for a lift, but I do really feel like I'm coming along and figuring out what I'm doing. And so I get that climb, and then I'm just like, oh, I can get back to this main ridge. Like, that is awesome.
I can't believe I got that save. That is nuts. Man, this is freaking cool.
So I get back to the main ridge, do a little bit of circling around. I'm trying to get that same thermal that I got before. It's cool looking at the Wingman app. I can be like, okay, I got the lift here last time. Roughly guess that altitude. It'd be cool if there's a feature to see the altitude, and then try to pick up that thermal. I get a little bump of it here and there, but at some point I'm just kind of like, if I got a really good climb here, I'd probably just head back anyway. And then I look over and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty much at the altitude that I need to get back over anyway, so I might as well just go back over now, since I'm not really going to push back into this uncharted territory once again. I'm just probably going to head home, and I know I can head home with the altitude I have, so I decided to go for it.
The visor that's killing me on the air sickness for sure. So I'm thinking about trying to cross back over. I feel like I'm kind of ridge soaring it, but being lazy, like I should be doing a circle, but I'm kind of ridge soaring it lazily. I don't know, man. Woo! This is really cool flying over the dam. Oh man, I have so much more altitude than I thought I would. I'm getting some beeps, I'm going for a little turn. It is way too fun being above this thing. Oh, that's so cool looking. Wow.
The dam was really cool. Seeing like that shape of how thick the dam is at the bottom was really cool after like reading about it in an engineering book, and then actually seeing it from the air on a hang glider. Really cool. That log jam is really interesting to see as well. It's a nice shot of it there. And I just had to do a circle over the dam. It's like definitely not the play as far as you know, cruising out, getting that glider ratio to the other ridge, but I knew I had altitude to make it to LZ and just really wanted to hang out here because it's a completely new area. I've never like flown above something like this before. It was kind of like flying above the like 395 highway. It was just like so novel. I just had to take another second to enjoy it.
It's like the homecoming tour right now.
So I'm back on the main ridge. I just get another great climb, and at this point, I'm like, it's basically too easy. I'm just getting these amazing climbs, and I'm just having a blast because it's like such an easy day to get lift, and I can just do so much more, testing out theories and ideas and checking things out. It's really fun on a big lift day like this to just be able to do that.
I cannot believe I am back above launch in the cold air. This feels like winning a race. This is a great feeling. I am so pumped right now. Oh my goodness. Incredible. So we're gonna have to do some obligatory moves for these guys here in a sec. Once I figure out if I'm at the top of the lift or not. Here we go.
So I'm above everybody, and I'm just like having the time of my life here with these big old swoops. I don't know why no one else launched sooner. Like if it was me and I saw a dude up here above me doing this, I would have gotten in the air so fast. I just got that great climb. I'm above launch now, and I don't know what people are doing.
Woo! Oh, what a blast. What a blast! What a good day. Go for my first ever in-flight refuel right here. Whoa, feels like I'm doing a spacewalk. Woo! I did it!
I know it may not look like much, but that was actually huge for me. I've thought about eating something in flight for almost 50 flights now and never done it successfully. So that was really cool to do.
Very stoked on that. Didn't really pan out, so we're gonna head back over to main zone. Mount Trashmore, or whatever they call it, I don't know. Didn't do the trick for me, let's get a little speed.
So I have so much altitude, I'm not getting lifted at Mount Trashmore or whatever it's called. I'm just like, screw it, I'm gonna burn over here at high speed, high-ish speed, to the other side of the ridge. I'm kind of flying crosswind right now, so I think this is pretty close to true airspeed right now, so definitely on the upper end of the Falcon performance, which is really fun to do. I just remember having that visor up, I was like, whoa, this is like some serious wind buffeting on my face. Really fun to just test out and do things that you don't get to normally do when I'm just, you know, scratching for lift, low to the ground. Having that like altitude to actually do things, really, really fun. And so I'm just back on the ridge now, and I'm like, I don't know where the lift is today. It's intuitive today. And I just get this great climb out, and
I'm
just having a blast, man.
I'm using my hip. My left hip's getting a little bit sore, but not terrible right now. I don't know what these fools are doing on the ground. There's great lift, I'm showing them. And they're just not flying, but we're cooking. Having fun. And really cool shot of this glider heading out towards, I don't even know what that is, San Bernardino or Santa Clara or something. Just shows you that glide ratio difference on the Falcon versus that, I believe a Sport 3 there. We're gonna risk it all in the battery. The shadow work is just too fun today. Just had a really fun pass.
I'm back on top of the launch again, and I'm just like, I'm gonna mess around with my shadow. It's something fun to do. A glider just took off that I wasn't planning on because he was there on my last pass. I tried running shadows over and actually had some fun ones, but I wasn't recording. So I do this sweet pass. It was really fun getting that shadow directly over that white glider. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of crowded. There's like this guy and then another person in a topless glider in my airspace. So I'm like, okay, probably it's time to stop messing around with the shadows and actually just focus on flying.
To be honest, the 2-hour mark, at least when I'm staying in the same area, my body's just getting tired, man. That's a lot of flying. So I think I'm about ready to call it. Maybe get close to 2 hours. It's just a number. I'm getting tired, dude. My shoulders are sore, hips a little sore. I'm ready to land. It's been a really fun flight. let's do a little speed action here.
I really thought this would look cooler on video. It felt really cool. It's kind of close to like, I would imagine like a wingsuit type of flight, just where I'm like doing low-ish terrain passes. I'm not that low to terrain obviously, but doing these low passes near the terrain, and I'm still getting little tiny bumps of lift, which is just crazy to me. But it was really fun just doing these low passes and just intentionally wasting energy, because normally I have this like thought process of like, okay, I gotta maximize like my potential energy, my height, can't waste it. And then here, when I'm like about ready to be done with the flight and the air's not bombing, sinking, I can just kind of do whatever I want. And it's really fun to just kind of mess around on near terrain, keep a safe distance, but mess around and just have some fun on the glider. Because I feel like usually I'm like working, trying to get some altitude, and like it's always fun, but like this is like seriously fun. Like I feel like actually gliding and not worrying about getting lift, like that's fun. The fun problem solving side of it is getting lift. The fun, just pure enjoyment, is definitely this just like burning energy, flying near stuff, doing whatever you want, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
So after all that, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna call it. It's been a 2-hour flight. I've had a fantastic time, and let's just unzip the legs, get ready to land, and do this landing proper.
Yeah, dude, hammies are tight, of course. Yeah, I feel some lift here. Feels nice. Alright, fine, I'll do one turn in it. Yep. Cool.
So here I'm just messing around, just trying to loosen up my legs and just doing these funky flight positions that I've never done before. It's actually really fun to do this, and I think on a longer flight I might find myself doing this more, just to kind of keep the posture fluid so I'm not cramping up or anything.
Oh, that's goofy, man. Goofy stuff. Goofy stuff. Hey. Getting a little crazy out here. No radio is interesting. What's up, Hawk? No radio has been a little interesting. Definitely 2 hours of solo time, so a lot of time of just talking to yourself, but absolutely a fantastic flight. It would have been cool to get a little more leftover trash over there, but it didn't happen. Really fun going over that way. It was very nerve-wracking at times, but then got a couple climbs out that really saved it. And now I'm just thinking about getting a really good landing. So, you know, a little bit of this, and then go into that, and then flare.
I just cruise out, and I'm actually lower than I realized. So I cruise out. I'm actually kind of lower than I planned, but oh well. I'm still plenty of altitude, but I've come in much higher before here, so maybe a questionable decision. It would be probably nice to have a little bit more buffer, because I basically just have to come in and do my approach. The windsock kind of died in the last like little bit there. I like don't see any headwind, and so I'm like, dang, it's gonna be a faster landing than I thought. Not super fast. Really focusing on my hand position here. Probably could have continued my round out a little bit longer there and then flared, but I didn't flare early, and I still got a nice flare at the end, so I'm really happy with that landing overall. Thank you so much for watching Flight 48. Plenty more to come in the future, and I'll see you up in the skies.